Ever wondered if there's more to the story of the Bible? For centuries, we've read the familiar tales, but what if I told you there are other books, ancient texts that didn't quite make the final cut? These are known as the Apocrypha, and they offer a fascinating, sometimes controversial, window into the world between the Old and New Testaments. So, what exactly are these books? The word Apocrypha means hidden things. They are a collection of writings, mostly Jewish, composed during what's known as the Second Temple period, roughly from 400 BC to the 1st century AD. Think of it as the historical and cultural bridge connecting the last prophets of the Old Testament with the time of Jesus and the apostles. Why aren't they in every Bible? Well, that's a story of councils, scholars, and centuries of debate. Early Jewish authorities didn't include them in the Hebrew Bible when the first Christians, many of whom read a Greek translation of the Old Testament called the Septuagint, began forming their canon. These books were included. However, during the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century, leaders like Martin Luther questioned their divine inspiration. They decided to move them to a separate section between the Old and New Testaments, labeling them as useful for historical context, but not for establishing doctrine. Catholic and Orthodox Bibles, on the other hand, still include many of these books as part of their Old Testament. So, what kind of stories do they tell? They're incredibly diverse. You have thrilling historical accounts in 1 and 2 Maccabees, which detail the heroic Jewish revolt against a tyrannical king. It's like an action movie, complete with battles, strategy, and unwavering faith. This is actually where the story of Hanukkah comes from. Then you have wisdom literature, like the Book of Sirach and the Wisdom of Solomon. These are filled with proverbs and philosophical reflections on life, justice, and the nature of God, similar in style to Proverbs or Ecclesiastes. They offer profound insights into the ethical and spiritual concerns of the time. There are also what you might call biblical fan fiction in a way, but with deep theological purpose. The Book of Judith tells the story of a brave widow who saves her people by outsmarting an invading general. The Book of Tobit is a heartwarming tale of an angel guiding a young man on a journey, complete with a faithful dog and a quest to heal his blind father. These aren't just simple adventure stories. They explore themes of faith, prayer, and divine intervention in everyday life. Even parts of familiar books like Daniel and Esther have extra chapters in the Apocrypha. For example, the story of Susanna and the elders, a tale of a righteous woman falsely accused, is an addition to Daniel. It reads like an early detective story where the young prophet Daniel cleverly exposes the deceit of the corrupt judges. Studying the Apocrypha isn't about challenging your faith. It's about enriching your understanding. These texts show us what people were thinking, fearing, and hoping for in the centuries leading up to the New Testament. They fill in historical gaps, introduce us to new heroes and heroines, and show the vibrant, evolving nature of faith during a pivotal time in history. Whether you see them as divinely inspired scripture or just valuable historical documents, the apocryphal texts are an undeniable treasure. They provide a richer, more colorful backdrop to the biblical world, making the stories we know and love even more vivid. They remind us that the conversation about faith, God, and humanity has always been a complex and fascinating one. So next time you're curious, why not pick up a version of the Bible that includes the Apocrypha? You might just find your new favorite story hidden in plain sight. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the hidden books of the Bible interesting, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history and faith. See you in the next video.